Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
Hi, welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel, and we're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. And now we're going to be talking with Melanie Calvin, who is here to represent an organization called Assist. It's benefits and, help me out here, benefits and
Social Security, disability benefits, and SSI, supplemental security income.
all that stuff, yeah. It's a lot. You do some really needed work, it sounds like, in the community. So explain to me how Assist works. What is your mission, and how did it come about, if you would be so kind?
So the federal application for Social Security, disability, and SSI is a real bear, and people with severe disabilities have a hard time getting through the first hoops.
I think anybody has a hard time getting through them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've tried to help somebody fill out an SSI application before, and it was overwhelming.
It is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so what happens is a lot of people don't make it past those first few hoops, and so they basically retain us to help them through that paperwork, that application process. Okay. And our mission is to keep the case out of this really long national backlog.
Of what? What kind of cases are we talking about? Court cases, or?
They're appeals. There's many tiers to the process, and so our motto is to get it right the first time and keep it out of this lengthy multi-year appeals process.
So let me make sure I understand. So when you fill out an application for these benefits, if you don't get it right the first time, then you're going to be denied.
And you go into the appeals process.
If you get it right the first time, then you're going to get your benefits.
Right.
And so if you really qualify, and you should have those, you're able to help those people get those.
Right. And so the reason we started Assist is because there's a high percentage of homeless people that are suffering from severe mental illness or physical disabilities. Sure. And they have even a harder time getting through a federal system like that.
And some of them are homeless because of those.
Exactly. If they can't work anymore, disability benefits are for people that have not been able to work before retirement age. So a lot of times they end up homeless because they can't support themselves because of their disabilities.
And if they can't fill out the paperwork to get the disability payments, I mean, it's a real catch-22.
It really is.
You can't get the services you need and the money that you need to live on if you can't fill out the paperwork. And that's an awful situation, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are doing wraparound services for homeless and trying to end homelessness, but this is a big missing piece.
Yeah, because I've never heard of anybody doing this.
It's kind of semi-legal, semi-social work, and we take really hard cases. There's a lot of disability attorneys out there that do the appeals with an administrative law judge a couple years down the road. But those attorneys don't usually help people with the applications. So this is a big missing piece in the fight to end homelessness and the social service realm.
So you can't even get to the point of having the attorney helping you, I mean, until a couple of years down the road. So
if you can't get through those first hoops, yes. So we're application specialists is kind of what we call ourselves.
That's a great service. So there is no charge to the people to do this? There's a sliding scale, or how do you do that?
Well, we're 501c3 and we get grants, but we also, there is a fee that we get. I took a big test the Social Security Administration gives, and I'm an official non-attorney representative.
Okay. And we can't say amounts of money on the air, but so there is a fee that you would charge for.
The crazy thing about those fees is there's a big flaw in the system. I consider it a big flaw because the attorneys that know how to do this work really well, they don't get paid on the number of legal hours worked. it all has to do with, but from the time a person starts their disability claim to the time, all these months, maybe years it takes to get them approved, they pay all those back months of disability in one big lump sum.
Okay.
And the fee is 25% of that back pay, whatever it ends up being. And so with our mission, you're
cutting that time down.
Way down. We win 70% of our cases in the first 6 months.
That's some pretty good stats.
And we take the really hard cases, people with lots of barriers.
So who can go, how do people get to you? How do they find out about you, and who can you help?
So we have a referral process. The need is very great, and we have at least a 4-week backlog most of the time.
I was gonna say, I bet you have a pretty good wait list, huh?
Yeah, on even new cases, yeah. So our website has a referral form. It's kind of a 2-page questionnaire that gives us.
Is it hard to get through?
No, we've made it really simple just for that. I mean, we don't want to be part of the problem.
Yeah.
Even that wait list is hard for me to stomach because everybody's waiting so long to get them. But anyway, so mostly case managers and hospital social workers and homeless shelter staff, they refer people that they're working with to us for that help.
Okay. You brought some pictures, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Maybe we could take a look at those and you can tell me what we're looking at. And then I want to hear about an event you have coming up.
Okay, great.
So, let's see if we can take a look at those.
So this fellow was homeless for a really long time, and he had really severe medical conditions that required surgeries, and he was living outside trying to manage this really, really harsh condition. He had basically ended up getting housing before the benefits were approved, but he'd been on the street a really long time. So I got to take these pictures of him getting indoors for the first time.
Wow. He looks really happy.
It was amazing. So that picture, I'll never forget it. I mean, he used to live under those bridges.
Oh, wow.
And now he's under the train
now
tracks.
It's his view.
And now it's his view. But the interesting thing about this picture was he was humbled that day, and he said, so I got about a year to get my stuff together. And I said, what do you mean a year? And he said, well, isn't this program about a year long? And I said, no, this is permanent housing. And he started to cry.
Oh, you make me cry. That's really
This fellow is one of my favorite people I've worked with for a long time. And his first bout with homelessness was at 8 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And when I met him, he wasn't quite 40 years old, and he had already been homeless for 20 years or more. And he had some pretty significant brain injury stuff going on, and he got into the recovery programs, and he was an incredible success story.
So you were able to help him as well?
Yes. We helped him get his income piece while he worked on his recovery.
Wonderful.
That's just one of our employees who's working on filling out paperwork. Our clients are from all walks of life, of course, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
And then that's my team right now. It's been an amazing journey. I'm a new executive director, and so I've got a pretty stiff learning curve going on here too, but I'm incredibly proud of that team.
How long has the organization been in existence, did you say already?
Well, I started Assist in 2010.
So you actually founded the organization?
Yes.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, thank you. We've served over 400 people, and it's a really small, tight-knit team.
I bet.
We work hard. We've got over 100 cases right now, and
so is there a story behind why you started this? I mean, is there?
Well, yeah, I'll try not to go into.
Okay, I mean, you don't need to. I'm sorry, I didn't ask you that ahead of time, but
I started out as a disability paralegal. I helped a disability attorney create a practice, and it was about 2004, and there was a program called General Assistance that got defunded. And that was a little small stipend of money that people could use while they were waiting all those months and years for benefits.
So something to tide them over, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And that got taken away, and I asked the attorney I was working with at the time if I could go through our huge backlog of cases to find the most people in need, and he basically said no.
Really?
So I realized that he was interested in doing the hearing level work with the judges and not expediting the benefits if we could. So I was one form of law that allows for a official lay representative, and I decided I could have a bigger impact.
It seems to me like this is something that other organizations or other people around the country should be, modeling themselves after.
Well, that's a good point. I also started the disability benefits training and consulting at the same time so that I could travel all over to other communities and try and teach my skill set to other social workers. So
good plan. I hope there's somebody out there who hears this and goes, yes, that's what we need. And
I'm trying to clone my skill set for sure.
Yeah, that's great. In our next segment, we'll be talking with somebody from the city of Gresham about some homeless services they have, and so and a lot of cities could use as part of their program. So you have an event coming up. Tell me about that.
Well, we're calling it Our Home because home means very different things to different people, and I tell one quick story about a fellow I was working with out of the cancer unit, and he'd been living in a tent for years and years, and every time we went to the hospital and started his application with him while he was getting chemotherapy.
Oh, wow.
And every time I brought up the word homeless, he just argued with me. No, I'm not homeless.
Was he offended by that?
He was offended by it, and it makes us realize that home means very different things to different people.
So even though he didn't have what we may consider a traditional home, he had a home which was a tent.
Exactly.
That was his home.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
So our fundraiser is, we have a local songwriter who wrote a musical about Portland called Rain, and he's donating his time.
And what's his name?
Richard Moore. He's decided to use our fundraiser as a new CD release party, which is great.
Fun.
And it's a lot of his songs are about home and giving and sharing and
so the theme works well with the CD.
Yes.
So at this event, this is taking place where?
It's going to be in Multnomah Village at O'Connor's Vault. It's a restaurant there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a cozy little venue. We're hoping to pack them in, but it'll be fun.
And when does that take place?
So that's going to be April 24th, Monday night, and we're hoping to sell 50 tickets a night, 100 tickets.
So Tuesday night
Tuesday
also?
as well, yeah.
So what can people expect when they go there? So they'll go to this event. How's the night going to go?
Well, the first hour is going to be a bunch of wonderful songs from Richard.
Oh, good. So he'll be performing?
Yes.
Does he have a piano or just sing?
He's a guitar player.
Okay.
He's well known in the musical community.
I've heard his name. Yeah, I've heard his name, but I don't know if I've ever seen him in person.
Yeah, he's got great stage performance.
Oh, good.
Stage presence, I mean. And then we're going to have a dessert dash and a wine wall and
dessert dash and a wine wall. I'm there. That sounds like fun.
It sounds like fun to me too.
Yeah. Okay. And so will this also be a fundraiser for Assist then?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a fundraiser and probably an awareness raiser as well then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And anybody can. I assume it's a 21 and over.
No.
Okay.
And our website, www.programassist.org, you can buy tickets, pre-sale tickets on that website.
Well, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. So if people need help, your kind of help, you can't help everybody and you have a long wait list. How do people get help? I mean, should they contact you, or are there other resources?
I'm very open to people calling with questions because it gets difficult to get through to the Social Security office once in a while, and a lot of times I like to consider ourselves a community resource in this department. So when we can't take a case, we're always really good about giving them guidance and direction, and this is what you say when you call and that kind of thing.
Give us some helpful tips, maybe help them get through that process, or maybe answer questions about the form that they're trying to fill out or something like that. Great, that's great. And you listen to them, don't you?
Yes, yes, we do.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. This is a really, really great service, and I hope that that people come to the fundraiser and that it's very successful, and that other people and organizations around the country will pay attention and model after that. So
we're definitely trying to bring benefits up on the radar for the social service world.
And homelessness is such a huge issue right now. I mean, it's become a crisis in so many cities, including, you know, this one that's another way to get to the possibly the underlying problem.
Right. Well, once we get them on benefits, they have money for rent, and you know, it's a game changer for these people.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're changing lives. So thank you very much. We're out of time. I really appreciate you being on here and sharing your story. So thanks.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. If you were inspired by Melanie's story and want to find out more, do go to the website. Find out, you know, there may be a way that you can get involved. Maybe you know somebody who wants to start up a service, just like she's doing. So check it out and do go to the fundraiser on the 24th and 25th of April. And don't go away. We have one more segment on Community Hotline.
Hotline is made possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
Documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera two.
Very professional, experienced people.
You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera three. Take three.
To be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.